The new Star Wars Outlaws story trailer is making me even more excited about this game. The story is looking pretty interesting, I just hope that the gameplay itself delivers a memorable experience. We also have a release date for Star Wars Outlaws. August 30th is the current date. Hopefully that doesn't get pushed back like several other Star Wars games have been in recent years. That's what we've got at the moment. Looks like it's locked in, along with a bunch of new details about the story mode and gameplay from this trailer. Hey everyone, it's Andrew. If you're not, please subscribe for more Star Wars Outlaws, Star Wars everything. There's lots of Star Wars everywhere. I see nothing but Star Wars every day, and so will you if you subscribe. Now, all the footage in this new trailer was captured in-engine, in the game, using Ubisoft's Snowdrop engine, which was the same engine that delivered the Avatar Frontiers of Pandora game, along with the Division games. Visually, at launch, Avatar looked absolutely stunning, and based on what we're seeing in this trailer, this game is equally as impressive. And I think that's the most exciting thing about this game. They're calling it the first open world Star Wars game, which it isn't. We had Star Wars Galaxies, and LEGO Star Wars Skywalker Saga could also be classified as open world, but this is definitely going to be the first seamless open world Star Wars game, where traveling between different locations won't require loading screens. Perhaps there'll be a loading screen while you're in your ship, like in Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, but you're still in control of your player and the game. But visually, I think this game is looking so impressive, especially if we're comparing it to a Jedi Survivor. Even though Jedi Survivor I think looks good for modern gaming standards, the detail in the vastness of the open worlds here, some of these stunning vista shots where Kves is looking out to the horizon or on her speeder bike. Even though I was critical of the Avatar Frontiers of Pandora gameplay, the world itself was fantastic and beautifully rich, detailed, vibrant. The sound design was impeccable. And Star Wars Outlaws is also made by Massive Entertainment, who made the Avatar game. And every time we get more footage, the game looks more and more stunning. So let's talk more about the actual story mode, as this trailer gives us more of an idea of what you're going to be doing and what the story is about. We've known for a while the story is set between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. That's why we're seeing Han Solo in Carbonite, which you can go and visit. You can actually see Han Solo in Carbonite. Not sure how I feel about all the cameos. Hopefully there won't be too many, because everything in Star Wars in recent years just seems to be set within the same 30 or 40 years. Everything revolves around the Skywalker family.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
However, I think this game is going to be doing something different, because while the Empire is at large in this time, the idea of the game is to explore other opportunities available in the galaxy at this time while the Empire are distracted with the rebellion.
Are we blind?
You play as Kves, a young budding scoundrel accompanied by her companion Nix, and Kay seems to have got herself into some trouble, getting on the wrong side of crime boss Sliro, who apparently is the leader of a new faction in the Star Wars galaxy known as Zerek Besh. It seems as though Kves stole something from the Zerek Besh and from Sliro, or somehow just got on their wrong side, perhaps blew up one of their bases or infiltrated somewhere, who knows, we don't know that yet. But we do know that her plan is to rob him and buy back her freedom from Sliro. So she's going to rob Sliro and the Zerek Besh. They're based on Canto Bight, that planet you might remember from The Last Jedi, and then use what she earned robbing them to buy her freedom from them. It's a genius plan. This character here, who I don't think we have a name for yet, seems to be kind of her mentor, along with the BX Commando droid wearing the trench coat, which, let's be real, is one of the coolest things ever in Star Wars so far. No one's got swagger and style like this BX. And in Kves's journey to buy back her freedom, you're also going to come across the Pike Syndicate, who are a crime organization particularly interested in spice. They had a prominent role in the Book of Boba Fett, also in the Bad Batch and the Clone Wars. Another faction you'll be coming across are Crimson Dawn, who at this point are no longer led by Maul or by Dryden Voss. I think it's possible Kira is in charge of this organization at this time in the Star Wars timeline. Han Solo's first love. Still need that Solo sequel. That's never going to happen. And then the other syndicate you'll come across in the game are the Hutts. Notably, you can go to Jabba's palace on Tatooine, which is one of the 5 playable planets in the game. And it's interesting being in here, seeing as though we are once again revisiting this part of the galaxy. I appreciate some sense of familiarity, and at least we're touching more on more background characters in Star Wars, I guess. In Jabba's palace, we can see his second in command, Bib Fortuna, who is eventually killed by Boba Fett and Fennec Shand.
Valiant peace be.
The Gamorreans are here, of course. I think this is Ula. This could potentially be Bosk. Salacious B. Crumb is here, of course. And then I think it's also possible this is a clone trooper. His face kind of looks a bit like Tamura Morrison's. Kind of hard to see. It's a bit blurry and dark. Surely this is not Boba Fett, though. I mean, we had the Boba Fett appearance in Jedi Survivor. Surely we're not getting another one in Star Wars Outlaws. However, it would fit perfectly into this part of the timeline, considering Boba was, you know, visiting Jabba's palace around this time, I guess. He was, I don't know if you call him friends, acquaintances with Jabba. They work together in some weird way. But while we're talking about Tatooine, I think we also need to talk about two of the huge reveals at the end of the trailer, which were the Sarlacc pit, which you see Kves and Nix falling into towards the end. I'm wondering if this has something to do with Jabba. Maybe she, you know, annoys him and just as she did with Han Solo, pushes Kves off of a sail barge into the Sarlacc pit, and she somehow has to survive this. I love that the Sarlacc is confirmed in the game though. Literally still waiting for a playable Sarlacc in a Star Wars game. Please make my dream come true. And then also, this is a Krayt dragon. There's a Krayt dragon in the open world on Tatooine. Can you imagine discovering this as you're riding your speeder bike around? I assume this isn't necessarily part of the main story of the game. Perhaps this is a side quest that you stumble upon at some point in the game, or just an Easter egg, a giant boss in the desert you can either defeat or run away from. Surely you can't defeat the Krayt dragon. It took a whole village to defeat the Krayt dragon in The Mandalorian, so surely you can't actually defeat this. Surely you just have to get the heck out of there. But I love that this is in the game. So cool. In Jabba's palace, we also saw those Bomar monks, those spider droid things with the brain in the jar. They look like they're a confirmed enemy in the game. But with these spiders and the Krayt dragon and some of the other creatures we see in the trailer, it seems like beasts, animals, creatures in the world will either attack you or befriend you. You can see here Kves standing on this cliff with Nix, with her speeder bike, and there's two creatures behind her. They look pretty chill. But also other times, creatures which will attack you. So I guess Massive Entertainment are taking something from the Avatar playbook here and applying it to Star Wars. Creatures in the world you can interact with, and who'll probably eat you alive. Also, speaking of another cameo, we get this shot here where the Trailblazer, Kves' ship, is flying away from a Star Destroyer. And you can see, along with a bunch of TIE fighters, there's an X-Wing here. Now, I think it's possible, going out on a limb here, that someone notable could be in this X-Wing. Possibly Luke Skywalker, or Wedge Antilles, or perhaps some other random rebel. Clearly, you're going to run into the Rebel Alliance at some point, though, if there's an X-Wing here. So, you're not only going to be dealing with Imperial entanglements, you'll also encounter the Rebellion. Maybe you'll even get asked to join, and she'll be like, how much are you gonna pay me? Because I'm a smuggler and I need money. We didn't see more of how the wanted system in this game is gonna work in this trailer, but we did see Death Troopers and an ATST up close. Cool to see some different enemies along with the inside of what appears to be an Imperial Star Destroyer. She's in an Imperial hangar here, and we see Nix going to fetch her an E11, which you can use. You can use enemy weapons and Nix can get these for you. We also already know that the game has a stealth system in combat where you can sneak around the environment and try and take down a base or infiltrate a base sneakily or go in guns blazing. Either way works. There's different ways and different approaches, which is how an open world game should be. There also appears to be a melee system in the game where you can attack enemies up close and something of a parkour system. I don't think it's going to be super free flowing, but there are definitely platforming elements. I mean, it's a Ubisoft game. How could there not be? And overall, that's been the main concern I've seen about Star Wars Outlaws, and I think why a lot of people are still skeptical about this upcoming Star Wars game. People are worried that even though it's one of the first open world Star Wars games, that it's going to be the same cookie cutter style of open world we've seen in so many Ubisoft games in recent years. In the Far Cry games, in the Assassin's Creed games, where you go here, take down this base, liberate this area, and then move on to the next section. It feels kind of the same everywhere. It doesn't seem to be the case. Avatar didn't really have that, even though some elements of that game I found quite laborious and repetitive. However, that was kind of half the survival elements of Avatar. And I think that's where this game needs to succeed. The core gameplay loop needs to be fun over and over again. Yes, you can throw around fancy words like Star Wars open world and build hype and excitement around that, but unless we're getting something that feels sandboxy and unique and original here, until we see those things, I think people have a right to be skeptical. But looking at the open world here, honestly, the streets feel alive. The world seems vast, there's so much to explore, and just seeing the Krayt dragon makes me think there's going to be Easter eggs you can find on each of these worlds by just exploring. Random events that will occur if you're just out strolling in the open world, riding your speeder bike, and then something random happens down the road. I don't think it's going to obviously be the same level of open world randomness and encounters as a game like Red Dead Redemption 2, but I'm really excited and optimistic about what Massive Entertainment are going to deliver here. The fact you can jump in your ship, the Trailblazer, fly up to space, fly to another planet, and land on the world and go exploring seemingly seamlessly, and with the addition of the Wanted system and 5 explorable planets, this thing has me interested. It also seems like cosmetic options are going to be a part of the game, and there is going to be some level of customization. I'm not sure how much to Kay Vess's character and appearance, but we do know, based on the pre-order bonus, that it seems like cosmetic items are going to be available for Kay Vess's speeder bike and the Trailblazer. So I'm keen to see the level of depth there. I don't think it's going to be anything too fancy, probably just be some different colors, but I think every open world game needs something like this, especially with the role-playing elements. Now, I'm sure you, like everyone else, wants Battlefront 3 to exist. Well, luckily for you, there is a Battlefront 3 that exists. It was just never fully released. But I recently played a build of the game and was allowed to explore every single map they made for this game. So if you want to see what Battlefront 3 could have been, watch this video here. Also come follow me on Instagram, Twitter, join my Discord and TikTok. More content on those platforms. And thanks for watching this. My name's Andrew. I'll catch you soon.